as, as leader of the All Progressives Congress. Last the president himself had said that he trusts Bola Ahmed Tinubu to build on his achievements. And the presidential candidate of the party echoed that yesterday when he was saying that Buhari has given people hope and he wants to continue to give Nigerians hope. Well, many Nigerians may raise questions about that and say, well, which hope? Is it with fuel scarcity or is it with the scarcity of cash? And of course, you know, what else do you expect him to say? His manifesto is called Renewed Hope. Secondly, there have been some insinuations. There have been some insinuations that money was being distributed yesterday when the convoy, or if you like, the politicians to be spraying money to this kind of crowd, there will have been complete chaos. But in any case, the campaign will soon close, and on Saturday, Nigerians will go to the polls to vote. Lagos State is going to be one of those major spots for the election. What is important is, as the security agencies have promised, to provide an enabling environment for people to be able to vote safely, for people to be able to make an informed choice, for Nigerians to be able to decide. After all, the title of the process is called Nigeria Decides. And Nigerians must decide on Saturday. And whatever the outcome is, we expect that all the gladiators that are involved will conduct themselves in a sportsmanly manner and respect the will of the people, which must prevail, which must be supreme.
Right, so a couple of things. Number one, if you want a show for a rally, no other person does it better than Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Give it to him yesterday. He had a sparkling show. You know, from the campaign train, from the dances, from everything. City Boy knows how to put up a show. And give it to the City Boy. He aced it yesterday. Good crowd, good turnout, everything. President Muhammadu Buhari raising his hands up. All the stumps went out there for the City Boy. But let's move one step further. And to second what you said, Dr. Abati, I watched the video over and over again. I didn't see money being shared there. But I also saw a counter video of some of the supporters sharing the money in an envelope that was given them, and that was the old notes. So the politicians and their fixation on these old notes, trying to pass it through, despite what the president has said, is very scary. And politicians should please calm things down regarding inciting people for protest, because there was also a video yesterday caught in outrage of a certain APC chieftain campaigning and saying that, hey, we are not part of what President Muhammadu Buhari has done, that Buhari and MFLA will soon leave. Statements like that to incite your crowd against the president because something is not going your way should be looked at. Just like what happened in Shagamu, which is very sad. Just like the governors that said, oh, CFOs will be revoked, banks will be damaged. Please, they should remember that there are consequences for the things that has been said. And I just hope that integrity of these people will be intact. The major problem of the APC is the ding-dong affair they have. The fact that it was so difficult for them to campaign with President Muhammadu Buhari's record, and they opted to campaign with Bola Ahmed Tinubu's record in Lagos, which has been challenged, and now they are stuck in the middle. So that's the major problem with them. So this same Bola Ahmed Tinubu that is saying, and that's what I was asking you to interpret, that how hard, you know, Buhari has worked, you know, how Buhari has worked for him and all of that, he will work out hard. The question you should ask me, this is the same Bola Tinubu that came out to say that some people have no brain, that Naira was 200 Naira in 2015, but now it's 800 Naira. But he was pretty much abusing President Muhammadu Buhari. And he's not been able to beat his chest and campaign with the policies. They say something with one mouth, with the other mouth they say something else. And now they seek the endorsement for President Buhari to raise their hands up. So you see, as we go into this election in 3 days, Nigerians, shine your eye. It has shown that there's a big war happening internally in the APC, how they can get their acts together, because half of their governors are already abusing the president and say, don't listen to the president. And there's so much discrepancy. What will matter the most will be the will of Nigeria to take their country in their hands and change their country forever. You have seen the shenanigans of politicians this season. The question I want to ask you is, as you go into this election, Nigerians, so far not they tire you. We'll take a short break now. When we return, we'll have Michael Wilson, Roto Sodiri, to give us updates on global and Africa business activities. Stay with us.
Fellow Nigerians, all our best hopes for Nigeria are achievable. By every measure, Nigeria can be a better, stronger country. We can be a nation at peace, a place of shared prosperity where everybody is somebody and equal justice under the law is enjoyed by all our citizens. In a few weeks, our country will go to the polls to elect political leaders and a president to lead our nation for the next 4 years. This is the most consequential election of our time. And we have it in our power to make the choice that allows us to achieve the grand possibilities of what Nigeria can be. Our path to greatness lies in recognizing the abiding truth that in a time of promise and peril such as this, the best thing we can do for Nigeria is to elect a leader with an established track record of achievement who has proven time and again his ability to triumph through adversity and succeed against the odds. In this election, that man is Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now let me tell you about Asiwaju. This majestic yet profoundly imperfect democracy we have today is the legacy of men and women who in the years after 1999 used the instruments of law, politics, media, and advocacy to keep this country from becoming a one-party state dominated by the personality cult of one individual. Asiwaju was at the forefront of that effort in every way. At the same time, he was governor of Lagos State, Nigeria's smallest and most populous state, a beacon attracting talent and ambition in droves. As governor, Asiwaju initiated and implemented reforms that have allowed the state to continue to develop and thrive despite its unique challenges. No candidate in this election has a better track record of identifying and elevating talented young people across every walk of life like he can. Our country's political and economic landscape is filled with men and women who have benefited from climbing the ladders of opportunity built by Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. His campaign for president today is powered by these same people. Fellow Nigerians, our country can be better, and it will be. For that, we need a president who will deliver a new program of democracy, prosperity, and national security. We need a president who will invest in public infrastructure as part of a broader strategy to drive human capital development and create economic opportunity. We need a president whose clarity of vision is untainted by the pervasive cynicism that abounds in this historical moment. We need a man whose extraordinary leadership gifts are evidenced by the abundance of talent he has nurtured through the years and his capacity to overcome challenges in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. We need a leader with uncommon courage and audacity. We need a president who will assemble the best team and empower them to do the hard work of making Nigeria the best it can be. We need a leader whose administration will appeal to the hopes of those who still believe in the dream and promise of one nation, bound in freedom, peace, and unity. A leader who will lift our gaze from the consideration of small things to focus on pursuing and achieving grand ambitions that lift us all and save the future. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the man for the moment. I have seen him through the years, connecting with people from all walks of life, bearing their burdens and paving the way, and testimonies abound in this regard. I invite you to join him on this inspired mission to build a nation where we harness the faith, optimism, and confidence of the Nigerian people to overcome all cynicism, defeat all fear, and achieve the best ambitions we have for ourselves and the country we so love. Thank you, and God bless you, and may He forever bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
I've been running my business on my own, trying my best to get it to the next level, but I really need some help to get ahead. I know just what to do, I'll vote it for my loans, overdraft, step by step to my dream business, we vote. Salary earners, entrepreneurs, get your loans with no collateral. Quick sign up, zero paperwork, step by step to your dream business, we vote.
Vault is available to individuals, SMEs, and corporate customers. Download Vault by Polaris Bank from the Google Play Store or Apple App Store to get started today.
Every day, life presents hopes, dreams, and challenges. Challenges that can become successes with a little help. Because a little help can empower you to go from despair to celebration. A little help can keep you going until the race is won. A little help can turn bundles of anxiety into a bundle of joy. And with Glow Data, you get much more than just a little help. You get the biggest data deals in town to make every day glow with small wins and big wins. Dial *777# to select your Glow Data plan.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. For Global Business Update, Michael Wilson joins us now from London. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning. I'm going to be brief because I've been asked to be. Australia and the rest of the Asia Pacific sort of very, very mixed this morning. Everybody's trying to digest the fact that the New Zealand Central Bank has put up its rates to the biggest amount in about 14 years to 4.75%, may go higher. As far as Asia Pacific generally is concerned, there's good news for those who have digital skills. They earn 65% more than their peers do around the world, and adds about $4.7 trillion to the total economy of Asia Pacific. These are skilled people, particularly as far as AI software and application development are concerned. Revenues of those kind of companies who employ those highly skilled workers, as far as investors concerned, up about 150%. As far as the US is concerned, as you know, a holiday on Monday. It's taking a long way for the long time for the market to get into gear again. The FOMC is the big one today. The minutes of that meeting will be available later on today. The Dow was down 700 points yesterday. It seems to be veering all over the place depending on what its sort of expectations of interest rate rises are, I expect probably the Fed to remain relatively hawkish. Amazon employees around the world are pushing back on their employers, saying that they must return to the office. They're pushing back. They've started their own digital sort of email service within the company, and a lot of employees are saying, no, we prefer the shorter working week and the opportunity to work at home, if say so. Bank of America is estimating this morning that Meta, which includes Facebook and Instagram, could have 12 million paying customers by the beginning of 2024. That pushes their revenue up about $1.7 billion, and those who wish to pay for it pay $11.99 a month. Canada is reopening or in broadening its trade relationship with Taiwan. It wants to, it's already doing about $5.82 billion worth of business, wants to do more. It's 13th at the moment on Canada's list, expecting to go higher. And it's the 5th largest partnership in Asia, but it wants to go higher still and work out the Indo-Asia area of the world for its exports. The European central banks shifting attention back to Europe now. Investors are really increasing their bets on a very much more hawkish European central bank that they've been used to. As you know, if you've been watching regularly, it's sort of lagged behind the rest of the central banks no longer. It expects interest rates 3.75% by September. That's a considerable increase on where they were in negative territory before, and expect them to be hawkish as the week goes on. UK and Rishi Sunak is eyeing maybe a 5% deal for public sector pay workers. The public sector was in fact, finances are actually in surplus for January. Nurses have called off their action. The RCN is going to meet with government officials today to see if they can push their way through this. As far as the trade deal is concerned, Sunak has still not convinced the Democratic Unionist Party, i.e. the loyalists of Northern Ireland, that what the trade deal he's proposing is actually a good idea for them. What they don't want to be governed by EU rules. They want to be governed as part of the United Kingdom, and we've been through this many, many times on this programme before. But basically, it's about Northern Ireland wanting to continue to be part of the UK and its trade, and therefore part of Brexit too, and have a softish border with the rest of the island of Ireland. It doesn't want a hard border. It may be that there'll be customs controls there. British Steel, for its part, is cutting 800 jobs. The Chinese owners recognise that British Steel is no longer competitive as far as the rest of the world's concerned, and it's expecting to cut about 800 jobs. Crypto, let's talk about Coinbase, and it's getting bigger revenues, more profits, but fewer people are actually using it, down from 8.3 million users, down from an expected 8.5 million expected. And finally, oil, very, very choppy trade still. The usual kind of things. Both Brent and WTI have lost about 1% yesterday. What they're worried about is the usual kind of things: is where's the growth coming from in China, and where is the global what is the global slowdown actually like, and is it taking effect yet? That is a rather shortened global view, but there it is. Good morning.
All right, real quickly, I'm really happy you hit the nail on it as regards Asia and workers getting more, especially in the tech sector. Recently, the UK was affected because some ministers from Western Australia, Perth, particularly, came to the UK and said they need 30,000 jobs and they're better paying jobs, and they want UK citizens to come to Australia. Is that not indicative of how things are drying up in Europe as regards jobs prospect?
I think, as far as digital tech's concerned, clearly the move is towards Asia, and I'm not including China in this because I'm not exactly sure where they stand on this. But as far as the rest of Asia is concerned, yes, certainly this apparently is what these figures are showing, and the message is clear, isn't it? If you've got digital skills, go and work there. That's what these figures are actually saying.
All right, well, thanks for the update on the pay issue in the United Kingdom, and Rishi Sunak saying that they're proposing or considering a 5% increase in wages, and also the update that the Royal College of Nursing are calling off the strike from next week. However, there's still contentions around this offer because it's below the 10.1% inflation rate recorded by the UK in January of this year. The nurses, the teachers are saying it's still not commensurate or perhaps fair based on inflation rates, and so they're still earning less. What lessons do you think Rishi Sunak can learn from perhaps his Labour counterparts in Wales and in Scotland who have offered a better pay deal to the nurses?
Well, I mean, all he's saying is this: the view from the government is, the public finances are slightly better than they thought they were. They've come in much better than expected. So there may be some kind of room for negotiation. But unfortunately, it's not just public sector workers that are going behind the rate of inflation as far as wage growth is concerned. It covers all industries as well. I think the key thing that his message will be, I mean, there may well be some kind of hard talking. I suspect there probably will be between the nurses' unions and government officials today. I'm sure that will happen. But I think also, but the message from government will still be, look, it's not going to be 10.1% because the actual rate of inflation, and if you're pegged to that, then you've got to take the ups with the downs, and that will undoubtedly fall. I mean, because price rises will drop out of the equation as they always do. That isn't to say, as I keep saying, that the cost of living is not too high. So I expect the two sides to be battling once again today. I mean, there may be a quick resolution. I doubt it very much indeed. This is just a calling off of strike action in an attempt to start discussions again. That's all we're seeing right now.
Yeah, I guess that's precisely the point, because this will be followed by intensive negotiations. And some of the papers are reporting 3.5%. The 5% is reported by Financial Times. But we'll see. I'm sure that it will be a lot of respite. Now that they say they have a £30 billion windfall from sources, unexpected sources, but majorly because of higher taxes. But I wanted to ask you about Amazon. About 140,000 of the workers, they've signed up to a petition, and they've created a channel called Slack. They say, look, they don't think they want to come back. And Andy Jas and the S-team, the leadership team in Amazon, they are saying, look, we want collaboration, we want to sustain company culture. Who is going to blink at the end of the day? Because it looks like many companies are moving away from COVID. Before now, Google, Apple, Starbucks, Disney, these are all companies that have been talking about people coming to work in office. In fact, they wouldn't have tried this with Elon Musk, who says in Twitter, in fact, if you have to bring your bed to the office, that would be welcome. But what do you think is likely to happen eventually?
I'm glad I'm not working for a company that says bring your bed to the office, quite honestly. I think Elon Musk is probably living on another planet if he thinks the workers are going to do that. The workers there, from what people who go into the company say, look absolutely exhausted, and they're looking over their shoulders because they don't know which way the company is going. I think the general move is to have fewer people in the office and maybe fewer offices. It's very interesting that in this country, of all countries, with a lower productivity than most of the developed nations around the rest of the world, an experimental 4-day week was brought in, and the productivity actually went up.
Oh, yes, increased.
Workers felt healthier. Again, who knows? I think that at the end of the day, Amazon, the employers, will win, but they will have to modify their staff policies slightly, I'm sure.
Well, thank you very much, Michael. Now, for business updates across the African continent, Rotus Udiri joins us. Good morning, Rotus.
Morning, Doctor. Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, Fai. Yeah, we get a big news in the power sector. The Afri-Exim Bank has taken a minority stake in Giregu Power PLC, and this is through their impact investment arm, which is FIDA. And essentially, this was announced, if we take a look, as the Fund for Export Development in Africa. As you know, the Afri-Exim Bank, Africa Export-Import Bank, is all about improving trade across Africa. It's all about improving industrialization and so on and so forth. So they got internal approval. December was when they announced it. And that internal approval with the board and everything else, and subject to, of course, due diligence and so on and so forth. As I said, the 5% stake is through FIDA, which is the Fund for Export Development in Africa. And FIDA has said that they are particularly focused on Africa's energy sector with respect to renewables, the energy transition, and so on and so forth. If you think about what power generation means to Africa, as you know, Femi Otedola, the billionaire who had his majority shares in Forte Oil, which became Ardova, he sold those. And he made the brave choice to jump into the power sector, which, as we know, is challenged, but here he is. Share acquisition was completed, was an off-market trade that was completed yesterday. And it's the first major foreign investment in an NGX company so far this year. And as you know, Geregu is the first electricity firm to be listed on the NGX. As far as FIDA, just to shed a little bit of more light on them. It's a major fund. Back in September, they announced a $670 million fund broken down into 4 pieces. You've got a $270 million direct equity fund, which will provide equity injections to companies that are looking to improve trade across Africa. They have a strategic initiatives fund, about $250 million of that pie, which is also going to more funding for more firms across the African continent. An Africa Credit Opportunities Fund, you know about the need for access to finance for a number of firms on the continent. And then a venture fund of $25 million. So all this, you think about the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, you think about the mandate of Afreximbank and FIDA. So again, when you look at that major investment over in Geregu, and as far as the power sector is concerned. Now, the Naira note saga, there was a very deceiving notice that was put out claiming that the central bank had a meeting with the president. They decided to allow 500 Naira, 1,000 Naira notes to be legal tender. I mean, even members of our production team yesterday, a family member sent it to them and they thought it was real, right? So they debunked that. And then they put out another notice saying that they are going to prosecute the peddlers. But it even fooled the First Lady. She posted it on her Instagram. I don't think anything nefarious was behind it. She claims that okay, this shot doesn't show her Instagram account, but the shot actually shows her Instagram handle at the top of it where she actually posted it. But then she claims that her account was hacked. We go to right. Yeah, that's what she said. But she deleted it afterwards. Then
and the account was hacked.
That's what she said. Said the account was hacked. Ride-hailing Bolt. Bolt said that they're going to invest about $500 million across the African continent. And before you know it, they've now announced, according to Tech Cabal, which is a tech publication, just so nobody knows, there's no cabal in technology, it's just Tech Cabal is the publication. But they said they cut about 24% of their staff. They got I think it's about 70 or 80 staff in Nigeria, and they cut about 18%, 17 of them. So 24% of that staff, they said they were going to make investments in Africa, but then unfortunately they've had to make some layoffs. And then
right?
No, this is just part of the Bolt stuff. And then finally in Kenya, JP Morgan has announced that they will be opening a Nairobi office. It's part of their drive across Eastern Africa. Of course, William Ruto jumped on this and said it's a big boost for Kenya. Now, of course, they have a regional office in Nigeria, in Lagos. They've got a regional office in South Africa, either Cape Town or Johannesburg. So again, this is your expansion across the continent.
Happy birthday, man!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Thank you so much.
There will be implications.
There are serious implications. Vimba delivered yesterday.
Yes.
She provided implications. So we're waiting.
Yes, sir.
Happy birthday,
Happy
man.
Congratulations.
Thank you so
We'll let
much.
you all
By
know.
this time next year,
Yes.
we'll have wife, we'll have kids.
No, that was already happening. It's already in the pipeline.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's time now for a short break on the morning show. When we return, we'll have Arise News analyst Emmanuel Efeni join us to review top stories in today's newspapers. Stay with us.
Kai, my people, reason this thing now.
When PDP day,
Our country be safe, Naira strong, economy they grow, fuel 87 Naira, rice 8,000.
our lives in better. Oh,
When change people come, no work, no food, economy for gutter. Naija boro, banditry full town, japa left and right, sakpa up and down.
no need to gamble.
Say choice,
PDP don't come.
say choice,
Recover Naija.
say choice.
We don't
Thinking of banking in Africa? Think Zenith. In today's fast-moving, fast-changing world, you need a financial partner that understands your unique expectations. A bank with presence in major financial centers across the world, with the enabling platform to facilitate seamlessly, whenever, wherever, however. A bank with best-in-class financial solutions from a superb combination of technology and human touch for easy, fast, and secure banking that creates real value. Turning dreams into reality is now in your hands. People, technology, service. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
I'm about to serve better breakfast.
If you're in Lagos, you need to see this.
I'm not just streaming content, I'm just escaping traffic.
Get more data to enjoy exclusive content. Dial *141# now. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Great people of our land, now as we stand at the dawn of light, did you know that while our gallant men were fighting off bandits and insurgents, we were also laying a solid foundation for the infrastructure revolution to spark the growth of our economy? Did you know that the APC government has put our trains back in motion? That we have completed and commissioned 569 combined kilometers connecting Nigerians to friends, families, and trade by trains, creating hundreds of thousands of jobs across the value chain. Now, as we stand at this dawn of light, let us move forward with renewed hope. Let's elect Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Senator Kashim Shettima as President and Vice President to birth the greater Nigeria of our collective dreams.
This message is brought to you by the National Working Committee of the APC.
APC Progress.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Malabite Efeni.
Good morning, Ruben. Good morning, Rufai.
Good morning.
Ayo.
Malab.
Yes, Ruben.
You're not allowed.
Ruben.
It's just for
Let's start the review. With this day, Nigeria's newspaper of record, the lead story, UK, Jonathan, Archbishop of Canterbury, appeal for violence-free, fair elections. United Kingdom temporarily closes visa application centers ahead of polls. No Nigerian should be intimidated in voting candidates of their choice. ACF, NEF, Ohaneze won. Nigerian Labour Congress urges workers to turn out massively to vote on Saturday. Yes, 3 days to E-Day, Election Day. And of course, all stakeholders are gearing up for that day. And the advisory coming from the UK, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, former president, embodiment of peaceful election, and Archbishop of Canterbury, all appealing for violence-free election. Of course, Ohaneze, Ndigbo, the Arewa Consultative Forum, as well as the Northern Elders Forum, are also cautioning that nobody should be intimidated, harassed on account of his or her choice of candidate to vote for. And of course, the voting is secret ballots. How people will discern who groups have voted for, of course, based on the demography of area people live in. But this is one warning I think Nigerians should take very seriously. Everybody is free to vote for any candidate of his or her choice. And nobody and no group should also warn another group as to who they should vote for or who they should not vote for. And good luck, Ebele Jonathan, urging Nigerians to eschew violence and hatred as they go out to vote on election day. And this election, according to him, and that is just the statement of fact, is about consolidating democracy. Nigerians, go out there and elect your leaders of your choice. Those you can hold to account, those you can trust to defend your future and guarantee unity, peace, and prosperity of our great country. Good luck, Ebele Jonathan, putting out that statement. And of course, the UK also taking more than passing interest on the election. Of course, the relationship between the United Kingdom and Nigeria dates back centuries, as it were. So for the UK, Andrew Mitchell, the UK's Minister of State for Development and Africa, saying that Nigeria matters to the United Kingdom. And we are following up on the run-up to this presidential, National Assembly, as well as gubernatorial posts. We're following up very closely. He's saying, of course, Andrew Mitchell had met with the 4 leading presidential candidates as well as the INEC chair. So the world is watching Nigeria. Nigerians are ready. Saturday is the day for Nigerians to go there and elect the next president who will take over from President Muhammadu Buhari come May 29, 2023. Now, the Guardian newspaper reporting the Supreme Court order. APC governors filed contempt action against Malami Emefiele. Presidential directive on 200 naira note stand. CBN insists to arrest, prosecute anyone spreading fake news. Aisha Buhari denies posting fake CBN statement on social media. Keep your old naira. Buhari Emefiele, not relevant after presidential election, says Oshiomhole. Well, if Oshiomhole has been quoted by The Guardian is saying this, then I can understand why Godwin Obaseki, the governor of Edo State, and the government of that state have declared him a person that should be arrested for inciting the public. Well, I hope the comrade Adams Oshiomhole will deny this, because this in itself is unbecoming of a former governor of a state, former chairman of the ruling party, if indeed this statement attributed to him is true. Now, Aisha Buhari denies posting fake CBN statement on social media. Well, we heard that her social media account was hacked, but it is the same social media account she used to retweet the statement by El-Rufai concerning the Naira. Was it, well, we need to find out whether it's the same account. But the issue of the Supreme Court ruling, the Supreme Court is holding court today. All stakeholders, all parties will come and stake their claim and make their position. How the Supreme Court will rule, we all wait with bated breath today. But as we speak, only the old 200 naira note is valid. According to the CBN, it's still a legal tender. The old 500 naira note, the old 1,000 naira note, no longer being used for transactions. Of course, Nigerians are wiser. Even at the marketplace, no local trader will take those note from you. But politicians, in their trickery, are still putting it in envelope and giving out to Nigerians, assuring them that something will happen. I hope those Nigerians will be wise, throw away those notes, or if they can, take them to the central bank and explain their source of getting those notes at this hour, and let's move on. Now, the Vanguard newspaper, Naira redesign. Only old 200 Naira notes reissued. CBN insists that denies directing banks to receive old 500 Naira and 1,000 Naira notes. Buhari made mistake. Governor El-Rufai says APC governors not against Naira redesign. Kogi, Kaduna, Zamfara accuse Malami Emefiele of violating Supreme Court order. Now, the Punch newspaper also reporting the cash crunch. Naira crisis, cash trap, Nigerians bank on Supreme Court as hearing resumes today. Governors demand Malami Emefiele sanctioned for contempt of court. Banks extend old 1,000 Naira, 500 Naira notes collection mop up to April 10. Panic in black market as dollar Naira rates fluctuates sharply. Now, what I don't get, the banks, the commercial banks that is, are receiving the old 1,000 Naira and the old 500 Naira note. But CBN is still insisting that they have not given any such instruction. Well, we need more clarity because banks don't act on their own. The banks know that when they collect this money, they will credit the accounts of those who are depositing this money at one point. But the CBN is still denying that, despite the fact that in certain locations, central bank directors actually urged those who have approached the central bank to go to their commercial banks and do same because they cannot handle all deposits, as it were. But we need more clarity from the CBN governor on this. It's not enough to just deny what is going on. Nigerians are saying that this is actually going on in the banks. So we need more clarity. Now, the Daily Sun newspaper, heavy security at INEC offices. Sensitive materials arrive, states FCT. Security agents begin show of force in Anambra. Below the photograph in the Daily Sun, we are following events in Nigeria closely. UK reiterates visa sanctions on electoral offenders. INEC accredits 146,913 observers to monitor elections. The Daily Trust newspaper, INEC gets cash for election. Rex to collect money from CBN state branches. EFCC, ICPC, others to monitor spending. It's wrong. CBN usurping INEC's independence. Falana is saying that. Now, if we just look at the New Telegraph newspaper, 72 hours to election, CBN settles INEC ad hoc staff's payment. We are aware of plots to ignite unrest. Subvert polls, federal government is warning. INEC engages 200,000 National Youth Service Corps members, says 146,913 observers will monitor process. Civil Defense Corps deploys 102,000. NCC dedicates 622 as election toll-free incidents hotline. British government will punish politicians involved in poll rigging violence. Now, 622 is a number which the National Communications Commission has dedicated. So if you see something on election, they call that line. It's the hotline you can call toll-free on election day. If you see something going on toward, call that line. And of course, the security agencies, INEC, they will be alerted immediately. Now, below the photograph of New Telegraph newspaper, I won't engage in politics of vendetta. Atiku tells Wike, says his antics can't stop PDP's imminent victory. Now, if we look at the leadership newspaper, 2023 elections, vote where you are. Northern Elders Ohaneze tells Nigerians, demand adequate security for citizens. INEC clears 146,913 election observers. Now, the Nation newspaper, yes. Colorful roadshow draws curtain on Tinubu's campaign. Yes. Buhari, I congratulate next president. Crowd share APC candidate riding on open vehicle from airport through Oshodi, Mushin Ojuelegba to stadium. President, governors, ministers at grand rally. Ex-Lagos governor, I will work for Nigeria. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the standard bearer of the APC, rounding off his campaign in his home state, Lagos. Now, the Business Day newspaper, controversy over clerics' endorsement of candidates. Yes, the Business Day newspaper is reporting that Nigeria, being a very religious country, clerics are playing a role in helping Nigerians decide who they should vote for. Yes, quoting a new poll by Palof, a not-for-profit organization, it shows that the guidance from religious leaders is among the factors that will influence Nigerian voters on election day. Now, the foreign newspapers quickly. The Times of London. Putin signals the return of Cold War nuclear tests. Yes, Vladimir Putin, in his annual speech, ahead of the anniversary of the invasion of Ukraine by Russia, is saying that he will no longer cooperate with America on the nuclear treaty. What is this? Yes, it's pulled out. And the implication of that for the war. Are we returning to the Cold War era? So it seems. The Financial Times reporting Sunak weighs 5% public sector pay rise after £30 billion treasury windfall. Push to end wave of strikes. Officials see low risk of setting benchmark. Nurses call up strike. Ruben Rufai and Ayo. A lot to talk about.
Real quickly, I'd like to start on the local scene, then I'll go to the foreign scene. I think politicians should watch it. All of this shenanigan playing out. And I'm saying that vis-a-vis what was circulating yesterday. You will know definitely it was spinned. People cloned the CBN official templates and wrote out a statement. And a lot of people pushed the narrative until it was debunked by the CBN. I think politicians should stop all this rubbish they do. Let's not overheat the polity. This country is for all of us. Just like how the rallies went peacefully yesterday, and somebody said, Rufai, you observed the rallies went peacefully yesterday, but Obedient had a rally and they were attacked in Lagos. So all of a sudden, they've been protesting about Naira's scarcity. They didn't protest about that during rally. They were all calm. But other people came to rally in Lagos. They were attacked, and no arrests have been made. Nobody has been prosecuted. So the security agency should look at all of this and be calm. And on further introspection, I now see why the Edo State Commissioner of Information and the commissioners in Edo State are saying they should call Mr. Adams Oshomole. That Guardian report you cited, yes. I've seen the video evidence of when he said it in Auchi, pretty much inciting the people against the president and the CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele. It's not good for an elder statesman to do that. And also, I think I made an analysis and I said, he may be politically motivated between Obaseki. I take my own words back because I fact-check myself when I'm correct. Because I have now been made to see the new video where Adams Oshomole was telling Kabaka and a couple of other people that they can't come and intimidate us in Benin. And when they saw somebody was recording, they said, shut down that recording. I saw the recording yesterday. I had not seen that recording before now. So all of these two things points towards something with the one in our yesterday, which they have video evidence for. We can't allow elder statesmen and politicians, because things don't favor them, to go against the president and say all sorts. In court, they will meet today, They have already filed contempt against Malami. They filed contempt against Emefiele and all of that. Let's see what the Supreme Court will rule today. But all of these shenanigans, I keep begging for politics. And it's not that when these leaders get in there, they change the lives of the people. And that's why these elections must count, please. Because you see, we keep having a change of leaders. Pomp and pageantry heralded Buhari coming in 2015. We called him a messiah. But what happened?
I did not we.
So how is it that
don't say we.
All the people that called him a messiah?
You were among those who called him a messiah.
You didn't know me in 2015, Mr. Feni.
Why are you saying we? Why are you?
A lot of Nigerians overwhelmingly voted for him.
Some
Nigerians overwhelmingly voted for him. There was a general consensus that Jonathan was the devil then. We can't deny the facts. There was a general consensus.
No, there was no such general consensus.
There was a general consensus.
Why are you generalizing?
No, I'm not generalizing.
You're in a generalization mood. Why?
No, I'm not in a generalization. Let me just quickly.
Election results.
There was no such general.
Let me quickly.
Even the results.
Dr. Abati, I don't expect you to say otherwise.
To call a man a devil.
No,
whose consensus was that?
See, there was a general consensus.
Even the result of the election showed that not all Nigerians voted against it.
Nigerians were largely disgruntled, and they wanted to vote.
So we can deny it all we want here today because we have seen otherwise that Buhari has not performed well, but there was a general consensus that it was Jonathan out or anything that period, which we cannot all deny.
Instead of you insisting on what others disagree with.
On Russia and Ukraine, I think to a large extent what is happening now, the West should watch it. Because Putin is pushing till the very end now. He gave a 105-minute speech and it was all guns blazing. And the West is also divided. People like Macron are saying we should still meet Russia on the conversation table. I don't know how they're going to pan this out. Let's see, time will tell.
Well, just on the Naira scarcity and what and responsibility in terms of the headline around INEC, actually. INEC having the funds required from CBN. I think that's quite important to highlight because one of the things that said, the INEC chairman had said, Professor Yakub Mahmoud had said that if they didn't get the required money, then it could, hamper, add logistics of the elections. A few days, I think it was yesterday, the service chiefs had reported about them assuring of the security of the elections come Saturday. CBN has now come out to say that we have given INEC the required logistics. So it seems like all hands are on deck to ensure that we won't have excuses come Saturday that the reason why certain things couldn't happen. They received the money, let INEC ensure that Nigerians are able to go to the polls on Saturday and exercise their franchise.
Okay, let me start from the particular to the general. To say that today is Ash Wednesday, which was the beginning of the Lenten season, when Christians, go through a 40-day period of fasting and reconciliation with God. Incidentally, this year, today, February 22, is also the beginning of the Sha'aban, 1444 AH, the 8th month in the Muslim calendar, marking again, signaling the Ramadan season, which will come shortly. So we find ourselves at a moment in Nigeria whereby the two major faiths will be, going through fasting, will be looking onto the eye of God. The symbolism of both Lent and even Ramadan that will come is about good behavior, godliness, sacrifice. And we hope that we will see these virtues on display as Nigerians go to the polls on Saturday. Because what you'll find in Nigeria is that there's a gap between public morality and private morality. Everybody troops to the church, everybody troops to the mosque, everybody observes the religious rituals, but we don't see it in their behavior. Stop looking at me, Eveni. I'm not accusing you. I'm just making a general statement. You
are decided to deliver homily this morning, Ruben.
The second point that I would like to make has to do with the banknotes. I read a very sad story of a gentleman at the Lagos State University, Ojo, who went to a bank in the school, Wema Bank, and having stayed on the queue for a very long time, the man just slumped and died. They tried to revive him, but he failed. So only God knows how many other people have died on queues looking for money. The hardship that people are going through is real. And in Ogun State, the Bankers Forum in Ogun State has directed that all banks should be shut down in the state because of attacks repeated attacks on banks across the state, which I think is unfortunate, but people are also optimistic that after Saturday, maybe those who are holding money will bring out the money.
Normalcy will return.
That normalcy will return. As for Putin, I said yesterday that Putin is not interested in peace. What he has done is to suspend the treaty between Russia and the United States on the deployment of nuclear missiles and weapons, of that sort. And what it means, of course, is that we're going back to the Cold War. And it is instructive that yesterday, when he gave his State of the Nation address, he was in fact blaming the West, what he called the decadent West, for the attack on Ukraine. Now, that connection, I've not been able to establish it, but, that was his State of the Nation address. And he's even saying that those sanctions have no effect on Russia, that Russia has been able to work out its supply chain. So as we approach the first anniversary of the Russo-Ukrainian war, it doesn't seem to look like diplomacy is going to solve the problem. It doesn't look like sanctions will solve the problem. It is the rest of the world that will suffer as a result of this. But of course, it got a quick riposte yesterday because about an hour later, President Biden was in Poland, was in Warsaw. And, he just, without necessarily addressing him directly, he said that, Russia and Putin pose a threat to freedom and democracy on the global stage. But we just hope and wish that, the war will be resolved so that the people of Ukraine can have peace, so that, people like Mr. Feni who like to eat bread, the bakeries that he patronizes will have access to wheat. Yes. And the world can be a better place for all. Thank you very much, Feni.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll take a short break now. And when we return, we'll be talking to Prince Uche Secondus, former national chairman of the People's Democratic Party. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Emergencies happen when you least expect them to. It gets worse when you are cash-strapped. No need to despair. First Advance has you covered. You can get that urgent cash right now on First Advance. With First Advance, salary earners can get up to 50% of their salary. No hassles. As long as you earn a monthly salary and your salary account has been active for at least 2 months. It doesn't matter if you run a salary account with First Bank or any other bank. Just dial *894*11# or simply dial *894# on your mobile phone. What's more, when you open a First Bank salary account, you can enjoy 0 charges and free debit card issuance. Download the First mobile app on Play Store or App Store today. Log in to experience First Bank digital banking. Select Loans, select First Advance, and follow the prompts to receive your loan. Don't let that urgent need get the best of you. Get First Advance now. It's as simple as dialing *894*11#. First Advance. Fast, convenient, secure. You first. First Bank.
There is a huge difference between the relative experience of salary earners and those of business owners and entrepreneurs. Someone who has never had cause to set up a business of his, who has never had cause to source for funds, turn it around, pay salaries, pay back the loan, and still make profit cannot be expected to be hands-on when saddled with an economy the size of Lagos. Experience that hasn't curbed Lagos's traffic in 24 years of their reign. Experience that hasn't addressed Lagos's perennial flood. Experience that currently leaves us with over 2 million out-of-school children. The duo of Jandor and Funke have been investing in Lagos's economy for about 2 decades, running their personal businesses, employing people with track records of success. Lagos needs a breath of fresh air. Vote Dr. Abdulaziz Olajide Adediran Jandor as Governor of Lagos State. PDP! Power to the people!
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has reallocated voters from overcrowded polling units to less populated polling units. Make sure you verify your polling unit before Election Day. To verify, visit voters.inecnigeria.org. You can check using 2 options. Option 1, use your name and date of birth. Option 2, use your voter identification number, also known as VIN. You can find your VIN on your permanent voter's card. You will not be able to vote if you do not go to your correct polling unit. Making your vote count, consolidating our democracy. This message is brought to you with support from the European Union Support to Democratic Governance in Nigeria, EUSDGN program.
Great Nigerians, great obedience. Welcome to the revolution for a new Nigeria. On Saturday, 25th February, the Nigerian presidential election is a revolution at the polls for visionary leadership. The leadership of Peter Obi and Dachi Baba Ahmed of the Labour Party LP with the Papa, Mama and Pikin logo. It's a revolution for change that will be effected by our votes with our powerful PVCs. It's a generational revolution by the youth, the obedience and other Nigerians who love our great country Nigeria dearly. It is a transformational revolution to get Nigeria back on track and move us from what is wrong to what is right. It's a revolution to unlock the greatness in Nigeria and Nigerians, the land and its people. A new Nigeria. It is possible with the right leadership, the Obidati leadership. This time we won't miss it. Our votes will count.
It doesn't really seem like 10 years, does it? But when we started off 10 years ago, it seemed an impossible adventure, but we did it. We got an historic television channel on the air. One of the most important things for me, and again, we covered all the global business stories in our way. It was a great adventure. I'll come on to what's happening today because I happen to think that that's much more interesting. But one of the great things was, it was seeing beginners actually stepping up to the mark and being trained. I enjoyed nurturing them. I enjoyed helping them with their careers and in turn helping Arise become what it is today. The business stories fall one into the other over those 10 years, but it's such a privilege to be reporting on it right now because I don't think we've ever seen anything like this. We've never seen the volatility, we've never seen the threat of recession, we've never seen the threat of war, and even the way in which we're working has all changed. So these are enormous challenges, and there couldn't be a better place to do it than with Arise. The news happens to be a great business.
I met some incredible people working for Arise News and also worked on some absolutely incredible stories, whether that was the Bataclan attacks, whether that was the Ebola outbreak, or whether that was making a documentary about the first female, first black, first Asian Vice President, Kamala Harris. There were some truly incredible experiences, including reporting throughout the COVID-19 pandemic on what was happening right here in London, whether that was the deaths of black and brown doctors or whether that was on kids struggling to go back to school, which included filming my own daughter homeschooling right here at home. It really was formative years in my career in journalism, and met some incredible people and did some incredible work. Can't believe it's been 10 years of Arise News, and here's to many more.
what an amazing decade it's been. I think for me, what makes it even so exciting is that it's been built on the blocks of telling not just African stories, but authentic African stories that resonate with you as an African at home. I think having been at the forefront of telling some of those big stories from the south side of the continent for me has not only been enriching for me as a journalist, but it's also been a moment where you're able to take the story to the people. I think for me, the Oscar Pistorius trial, bringing it blow by blow to our viewers on the platform, has been one of those big moments for me as a journalist here on the rise. And we say, here's to many more 10 years. Happy birthday.
Knowledge is power. Information is currency. Trust us to tell you what you need to hear. Welcome to the program. You're with Arise News in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Breaking news, exclusive interviews, unrivaled analysis. It's you, the audience, who drives our agenda. We tell the stories that inform you, the stories that are important to you, and the stories that are about you. We are not every news channel. We are Arise News.
Hello guys, do you know that in his renewed Hope 2023 action plan, Bola Tinubu promised to fix our national security by implementing these common sense measures? The Bola Tinubu administration will increase the number of military and security personnel on active duty across the country, introduce modern doctrines and practices to better engage and defeat terrorists, kidnappers and bandits, upgrade weapon systems and introduce greater domestic production of munitions, introduce new border, forest and community security forces specializing in the protection of remote areas and variable terrain, reposition the police institution to focus on its primary duties of community policing and maintaining law and order, improve salaries and welfare for the families of our fallen heroes. This is the man who turned Lagos from a dangerous, often scary place where crime was the norm into a relatively safe and crime-free place it is today. He has the ideas, he has the track record. Vote APC for a safer and more secure Nigeria. This message is powered by the APC PCC Youth Directorate.
When you hear the sound of credit alert, quick and easy transfer, say we want to serve you better. No be play, we go turn your business around. We are Fidelity Bank. We are Fidelity. Sure you be the person we want relax. Save your money, your girl with the serve, we know they tired. Say now your future be our concern. At Fidelity Bank.
Keep our word. 34 million hectares of arable land. Over 200 million people. One nation. Home to Africa's fertilizer company. Dangote Fertilizer, pure urea fertilizer. With one single-minded passion to feed Nigeria. Every bag is a potential, an aspiration to turn this green nation into the biggest food basket of Africa.
fertilizer.
Let me tell you, no matter your poor background, PDP will give you the opportunity to be anything, to be whatever you want to become in your life.
Yawa, ya so samu ne, Atiku ya samu, wazirin mu da shi da Okowa su ne namu. In fa an samu, wai, da na samu, idan na samu kai ka samu kowa ya samu. Ya so samu ne, ku dangwala wa Atikun dai, saboda ba wani shakka shugaban kasa shine daidai. In fa an samu, dala ta karye, a cire tsoro a gyara tsaro bana dole mu warke. Ya so samu ne, a ce a rike tuta, na tsawon minti 10 kuma ba wanda zai huta. In fa an samu, in fa an samu, mene? In fa an samu, wani habawa. To ku zaɓi Atiku, da shi da Okowa, dan za ku ga aiki. Ya so samu ne, mu dangwala ma PDP. Ku fito mai zaɓe, ku fito da BBC. Rayuwa for Naija is hard, ko baba ya san no easy. Ga tsada ga layin mai ga yunwa ga ba ko sisi. Rainy days ahead amma ga lema Atiku muke so sai lema da ni da kai da shi har da kema. Ran zaɓe dangwala ma lema.
The 2023 general election is the second general election since the passage of the Not Too Young to Run Act.
About 28.6%, which is over 4,000 young candidates between 25 to 35 years of age, are contesting for various elective offices across Nigeria. These young men and women with competence, capacity, and character need your support to win.
The 2023 election is an election of rebuilding this great nation and restoring hope through our vote.
Imagine a government with 30% young elected leaders with competence, capacity, and character.
It begins with one vote, your vote. These young candidates are deciding Nigeria's future today.
Our future
depends on your vote.
Enjoy 50% discount off in the Airtel Home Broadband Season of Love offer. Buy a router for just 10,000 Naira and get up to 240 gigabyte or a MiFi for 5,000 Naira and get up to 125 gigabyte bonus data. More data, more you. Reliable home broadband by
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Hello, welcome to Able to Vote Guide. Able to Vote Guide is a voter education series to increase participation of registered voters with disability and the society at large. My name is Jake Epele. I'm the CEO and founder TAF Africa. Let's get started. In today's episode of the Able to Vote Guide, we will focus on how you, a blind registered voter, can use the Braille ballot guide as provided in Section 54, subsection 2 of the Electoral Act. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is expected to provide and deploy assistive devices to polling units where you are registered. As a blind registered voter, once you get to the polling unit, it's expected that you request a Braille ballot guide to enable you to vote at the voting point. The Braille ballot guide for the blind is an envelope-like leaflet with tactile features that enable persons with visual impairment to vote independently. Interestingly, it is the same size of the ballot paper once the ballot paper is inserted into it. The blind voter will be able to identify all the names of the political party listed therein. You can then proceed to vote for the political party of your choice using your thumbprint, and the ink will automatically fall on your chosen political party on the ballot paper. And you would have successfully exercised your right to vote. This message is coming to you from TAF Africa with funding from the European Union and supported by our media partner. For more information on the activities of TAF, follow us on our social media and our website displayed on your screen. See you on the next episode of Able to Vote Guide. I remain yours truly, Jake Epele. Bye.
Hi, I'm Pat Rankin, and they don't call me World Best for no reason. I only deal with the best. Be it auto or business, 100% claim is always guaranteed.
Welcome to world-class insurance services. We are Anchor Insurance.
Where insurance truly works.
What an amazing decade it's been. I think for me, what makes it even so exciting is that it's been built on the blocks of telling not just African stories, but authentic African stories that resonate with you as an African at home. I think having been at the forefront of telling some of those big stories from the south side of the continent for me has not only been enriching for me as a journalist, but it's also been a moment where you're able to take the story to the people. I think for me, the Oscar Pistorius trial, bringing it blow by blow to our viewers on the platform, has been one of those big moments for me as a journalist here on Arise. And we say, here's to many more 10 years. Happy birthday.
I met some incredible people working for Arise News and also worked on some absolutely incredible stories, whether that was the Bataclan attacks, whether that was the Ebola outbreak, or whether that was making a documentary about the first female, first Black, first Asian Vice President, Kamala Harris. There were some truly incredible experiences, including reporting throughout the COVID-19 pandemic on what was happening right here in London, whether that was the deaths of Black and brown doctors or whether that was on kids struggling to go back to school, which included filming my own daughter homeschooling right here at home. It really was formative years in my career in journalism, and met some incredible people and did some incredible work. Can't believe it's been 10 years of Arise News, and here's to many more.
A bit of showbiz. If it's happening in the world of entertainment, you'll be hearing about it here.
From what's trending on the socials
to music and movies, and all the latest showbiz gossip from around the world. Join us for a front row seat at the Oscars in Los Angeles, or the biggest moments from Fashion Week. It's fun, it's fresh, and it's packed full of all the entertainment news you need to know. You heard it here first. I'm Kachi Ofia, and this is Arise 360, where every culture matters.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. The Muslim ticket chosen by the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Bola Tinubu, at the beginning of the APC Presidential Campaign Council inauguration, seems to have died down with huge acceptance by Christians who initially kicked against it. According to most Christians in the APC, Bola Tinubu is not a religious bigot and is therefore not making the choice to achieve a religious objective. Rather, it belongs to the group of politicians that believes the 1993 victory of the Abiola Kingibe Muslim ticket was a winning formula. However, as the 2023 general election draws nearer, the catalyst for global peace and justice has urged Nigerians to stand against the continuity of refurbished and repackaged tragedy in leadership, which has bedeviled all aspects of the country's development in recent times. Joining us now is Reverend Abraham Sam Ayedogon of Realm of Glory International Churches and the convener Catalyst for Global Peace and Justice. Thank you very much for joining us, Reverend. Good morning.
Thank you, Dr. Ruben. I want to also call you Professor Ruben Abati. No delay, Farutimi. Call you Professor the other time, because mind. So I hope you go for that soon. And Rufai without the hair. The real Rufai saying thanks for all the good job you guys are doing. And Ayo Mario Ese, the lady that now filling in for us. So we're not missing too much. So thank you for doing such a good job. You've been very helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Reverend. Yeah. Well, 3 days to Nigeria's presidential polls. So many issues on the table: ethnicity, religion. In the introduction, I mentioned Muslim ticket, threat of violence. And the big question, is INEC prepared? What are your observations as Nigeria prepares to go to the polls?
Yes, just 3 days to go. I have to repeat again, I think you guys have been very courageous, and which always inspire me, fearless and balanced, and setting the agenda and insisting that we should focus on the real issue instead of all the toxic and the hateful and the degrading politicking and electioneering that's been going on. You guys keep insisting that we should know that election shouldn't be war, and there will still be life after election. But when you look at the terrain, it's been very divisive, it's been very, very destructive, to say the least, and even traumatizing for the psyche of the Nigerian nation. I want to come in a different way this time. You remember when you had me, immediately the ruling party came up with the ticket. With due respect and so much love for our Muslim brotherhood, many of us across various divides, whether you're Christian or Muslim, have to speak out, just in the name of fairness and justice and having a balance, and not playing the politics of exclusion and all of that. Yeah, so I I was really, I was passionate about the issue because I felt there was no due consultation with the Christian bodies, the various Christian bodies and all of that. I thought that things were taken for granted. But in fairness, the spokesman for APC candidate and he himself, they've tried to douse that tension to assure the Christian community. And I have to say, I'm not in touch with them, and it's not like they have pacified me. But I have to listen objectively. They reach out to CAN, I'm aware. They reach out to PFN. They made a lot of efforts. And, you know, so our faith and our Lord is not, and does not permit us to give into vendetta. Our faith is a forgiving faith. Our faith is an understanding faith. So a whole lot of us have to calm down. And you, in the media, the fourth estate of the realm, you kept saying we should go beyond the sentiment of religion, the sentiment of ethnicity, which you have mentioned now, and all whatnot. So the only challenge is that the various political actors, the political gladiators, the spokesmen, the followership, have continued to stab the nation. Our nation has been bleeding. Our nation is soaking blood. No thanks to even the EndSARS, the hashtag EndSARS controversy, the massacre, whatever people want to call it. The nation, the youth have been bleeding. So to keep stabbing a nation that is bleeding and thinking you're going to heal it, to say the least, it's been economical with wisdom. So in a bid to set the nation on the right path and fix what is wrong and stop destructive forces, many Nigerians have become more destructive in their communication, in their engagement. I think it was Osita Chidoaka, a chief, that said one time, you can't say you love Nigeria when you're not committed to fellow Nigerians. Because it's Nigerians that make the entity called Nigeria. It's not the geographical landscape. So we can't be attacking ourselves and stabbing ourselves and degrading ourselves and demonizing one another or different ethnic group and religion and think we'll heal the nation. So I come this time to join my voice to the voices of well-meaning global citizens. And you had eminent people on your show saying the election and even the rest of the engagement should be violent-free, should be hate-free. I heard about the threats of visa ban to people that violate that. That does not affect me because I'm even tired of traveling anyway, but I won't want my family member to be sanctioned. Yeah, but on a serious note, everybody is speaking. And so I come this time not repeating the error of Moses. The first time I have to smite the rock because I felt there was hardness of heart and there was hypocrisy. I smote the rock and it had effect. It went viral. And the bishops, apostles, GOs, Muslims, politicians, different people all over the world reached out to me. And I felt very encouraged. Some people actually felt I risked my life and is Nigerian worth dying for and all whatnot.
Okay.
But this time, I want to speak to the heart of the nation and to everyone that let's go and vote our conscience. Let's go and vote with the knowledge and the understanding we've gotten. But let's stop attacking and injuring one another or trying to set the nation ablaze that if my candidate do not win, the nation will be finished. If power does not come there or come here. So all of that must stop.
All right.
The peace of God must prevail.
Okay, thank you very much. And that's very well said. I think it's important for elder states, people like yourself, especially religious leaders, to come out and speak in this way. You sound a lot softer with regards to your stance, with regards to a Muslim ticket. And from what you've said, are you saying that in the event that the APC merges win on Saturday, the Christian community in Nigeria would make efforts to work with them despite the fact that they didn't quite agree with the Muslim ticket? Is this what should be, is this the stance of the Christian Association of Nigeria? And what would you then be asking, since you would still have a Muslim?
Thank you, Ayo. Let me say that I'm not standing in now for Christian Association of Nigeria or PFN or the Christian body. So I appreciate Arise News Network calling me to come and share my view. And number two, I'm not here to tell Christians who to vote for and who not to vote for. I didn't even do that with the churches under my influence. I feel it is insulting the sensibility of people. The reason I spoke out passionately the other time was I felt there was a case of injustice and it was like a particular field was being trampled. And I want to say, because I'm committed to human rights, I'm committed to the dignity of all humanity. If it's a Muslim, or if it's the Muslim faith that is disregarded and trampled, I will speak out. Right. So if it was a Christian ticket, I'm going to come out and say it's not balanced. So I spoke then. Now, when you ask, am I saying if the ruling party ticket, the ticket of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if they win in the coming election, are we going to accept it? Are we going to embrace it? And we'll be having a Muslim president and Muslim vice president. There have been so many issues, perspective about that. Number one, I don't think they will win. And that's my personal opinion. And I'm not speaking as a prophet. I'm rather a prophetic scholar. I'm a prophetic student. I'm not a prophet. But from all the facts before me and all the things I've been monitoring, I don't think they will win. And I actually also have input from very spiritual people that are more mature than myself. But if they win, what I've been saying on my platform in the church is based on Daniel chapter 4, verse 17, verse 25, and other verses, where Nebuchadnezzar have to be given the heart of a beast to go to the bush for 7 years, to become like an animal under dew, eat grass. Just maybe he was too synthetic in his lifestyle, and he became so arrogant and so proud. And he forgot that it is the Most High that rules in the affairs of men and set on it whomever he will. Sometimes the meanness of men. Right. So God have allowed people like Pharaoh, like Nebuchadnezzar. It doesn't matter. God will still have his way. The heart of the king is in his hand. He turns it wherever he will. So what I've been saying is, whoever wins, whoever emerges, I even dare say to them in my church that I didn't want it, but if the APC candidate emerges, I will have no option. The Christian faith did not ask you to pray and force who should get to power. He says you should pray for those who are in power. In 2015, I didn't want the election to go the way it went for personal reasons. 2019, there were reasons why I was opposed to many things about the Buhari presidency. But at this stage, I have to embrace the Bible and start praying for him. So yes, it will be bad. It will be out of balance. They've tried to give assurance. If we now have a Muslim president and vice president, if they win, but we have no option. We must not bond our nation. We can't allow, and that's not even the way of the Christian, we can't allow thugs and warlords and bandits to begin to control affairs. We cannot give in for anarchy. And then if it goes to the north, if the PDP candidate wins, we also, even Christians may not like that, Southerners may not like that, but we have to embrace the Most High rules. Play your part, do your civic duty, don't be disenfranchised, don't have voter apathy, and even campaign for whosoever you prefer, but don't insult others. Then whosoever win, if you are a godly person, All hands now must be on deck to build our nation. Even if you have to still be putting their feet to the fire and say, this is what you must do, you must not do this, which is what the media and many other institutions have been doing very well. And I want the Christian body to do that more. And we have some eminent Christian leaders that are doing that. So if they win, good luck. Then we just set a new agenda.
Okay.
But I don't think.
Okay, so let's go straight to this real quickly. A lot of people will say, why the sudden change? Did some people reach out to you? Yeah. Let us know, was there any backstory that we are not knowing about? Because you said that if this would take your life, you will put your life down on the line for it.
Yes.
So why all of a sudden shifting from a conviction that you could lay down your life for, all of a sudden now? Secondly,
thank you, Rufai.
A lot of other people too have endorsed other candidates. Some men in the clergy have endorsed Peter Obi. The northern Christian elders have endorsed Peter Obi with T.Y. Danjuma and all of that. Those endorsements are coming in. What's your take about all those endorsements?
Thank you, Rufai. Why the sudden change? They didn't reach out to me. You know, I have to be forthright. I walk in the temple of truth, and I'm accountable to God. Nobody could reach me directly, but they try to reach people through my home state, through my place of origin. It's like, oh, don't you know this candidate will serve our people? And what they were constantly told is, he doesn't listen and he doesn't take anything. Don't even try. Don't go near him. I think they try to reach out through friends, through different ways, but there was no courage to reach out to me directly. And you know, if you don't want people to reach you, there are many ways of doing that. But why the sudden change? The reason for the sudden change, say, change and growth are synonymous. If you are growing, you have to keep being transformed. The Bible says, don't be conformed to the world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. So we have been praying. We have an organization called Every Nation Movement. It's in about 80 to 100 countries. Like I sent them notice this morning, all over those nations. We pray, we have virtual meeting. We had 155 days of praying towards Nigerian election, you know, and we're still doing a weekly prayer now. And on that forum, we have to yield our heart to God and say, God, what are you saying? What should be our position? We have addressed an imbalance. And my life is still on the line. You know, when people ask me, is Nigerian worth dying for? I say, absolutely. 220 million? Yeah, worth dying for. I mean, that's the way of Christ. I haven't changed that. But what has changed is this. The essence of Christianity, the essence of Christ is love, unconditional love. It's mercy, it's forgiveness. Okay? So you cannot keep on being negative. And you can't use negativity to cure negativity. And if you correct an abnormality, and if there's a positive response, you watch and see. I mean, even in your family, if you correct your child, they say you use one right hand to correct and use the left hand to do whatever. So I just felt that, like I said, I don't need to keep smiting the rock. Now I can speak sense to the people concerned. Well, for those who are endorsing, I really do not think a church leader, and I've spoken to some of my colleagues, and some don't agree. I don't think a church leader or a religious leader should be partitioned or secure behind a candidate, Christian, Muslim, or whatever. I don't think so. I think it's an aberration. You are supposed to be father of all. You're supposed to be able to care for and reach out and engage everyone. But I'm not taking anything away from those who have endorsed one candidate or the other. But my preference is enlighten people about the issues, tell them the right attitude, don't cause, don't promote enmity, divisiveness, don't destroy the polity, because we have nowhere to go. So what has changed is just, it's like my mind is refined. I'm more committed. And the golden rule says, do to others the way you want them to do to you. If it's your father that is contesting, probably you advise.
On that note, Reverend, we
But
would like
you are
to
not
thank
going to
you.
want your father to be trampled and stripped naked. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Reverend Sam Ayedogbon, for joining us on the morning show. We'll take a short break now. And when we return, we'll be talking to Buba Galadima, a chieftain of the New Nigeria People's Party. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
My name is Ifeanyi Chukwu Okowa, Governor of Delta State and Vice Presidential Candidate of the People's Democratic Party. And I believe we can get Nigeria working again. Our country is presently distressed. The unemployment rate is alarming. Inflation is driving people into hunger and despair. And insecurity has enveloped every part of our nation. We have never been as divided as we are today, and confidence in governance is virtually non-existent. Access to healthcare and education remains a mirage. Infrastructure decay is worrisome. The voices that can return faith to the people are few and far between. As a people, we all agree that enough is enough. This is that moment for us to come together as one and make the change we truly deserve. Atiku and I have spent our lives in the private and public sector. Just as in the past, we have again created a blueprint that will lead to quick and sustained recovery of our economy. Join me and our presidential candidates, Atiku Abubakar, in taking the first step towards healing and recovering a great nation by coming out to vote for the People's Democratic Party.
As you adjust to the new realities for operating your business and engaging with your customers, let us help you transform your business into a digital powerhouse capable of adapting and taking advantage of today's opportunities. With our best-in-class array of digital solutions, you can conduct your business, receive payments from your customers, and perform transactions quickly, safely, and conveniently, because we've got you covered with the right people, technology, and service offerings. Contact us today and let us take your business to its zenith. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
Every day, life presents hopes, dreams, and challenges. Challenges that can become successes with a little help. Because a little help can empower you to go from despair to celebration. A little help can keep you going until the race is won. A little help can turn bundles of anxiety into a bundle of joy. And with Glow Data, you get much more than just a little help. You get the biggest data deals in town to make every day glow with small wins and big wins. Dial *777# to select your Glow Data plan.
With their so-called experience in 2019, Lagos's poverty rate was 4.5% and today it's 8.5% with 4.2 million Lagosians in extreme poverty. It is only an inexperienced manager that will pump 10 billion naira into an employment scheme to address unemployment rate of 14.6% in 2019. And today, same unemployment rate has gone up to 37.16%, with 1.8 million Lagosians having no jobs. The duo of Jando and Funke have been investing in Lagos's economy for about 2 decades, running their personal businesses, employing people with track records of success. Lagos needs a breath of fresh air. Vote Dr. Abdulaziz Olajide Adediran Jando as Governor of Lagos State. PDP! Power to the people!
Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. It's 3 days to the general election in Nigeria, and the new Nigeria People's Party have insisted that its presidential candidate, Rabiu Kwankwaso, is not stepping down for his counterparts in the All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu, and in the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar. Reports of a possible merger between the NNPP and the APC or PDP had surfaced, but the NNPP had been consistent in dismissing the claims as untrue. With the new intakes from PDP party members led by Shehu Sagagi, who recently defected to the new Nigeria People's Party in Kano, the NNPP is looking set to galvanize the northern vote bloc this Saturday. Joining us now from our Abuja studio is Buba Galadima, a chieftain of the new Nigeria People's Party. Good morning and welcome to the morning show.
Elijah, good morning. It's good to see you again on the morning show.
This morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elijah. Well, it's 3 days to Nigeria's general election, and you've been campaigning for the new Nigeria People's Party. Well, will it be right to just ask you the question, how market? Because I've not been seeing NNPP featuring at the top of all these polls. So many polls that have been conducted by all kinds of agencies. You see that they say, oh, NNPP will be relevant only in Kano, or they don't even pay attention to your party at all. But it's 3 days to the election. What's your take about your party's prospects and also about preparations for the election?
Well, Dr. Abati, thank you very much for this. And you've hit the nail on the head. It's true that a section of the press have been compromised to make sure that they suppress us down. That is not an issue as far as we are concerned. The truth of the matter is that this grand conspiracy would be crushed in the next 3 days' time. Senator Kwankwaso is the only candidate that has worked hard, that is popular, that is competent, that is strong. And I want to give you an example. In the last 5 days alone, we have clocked about 10,000 kilometers on road. We flew from here to Maiduguri, held a road rally across the town, and the response has been unprecedented. From there, we came to Damaturu, the capital of Yobe State, and you need to be there. And I think if Arise TV is honest and truth to themselves, they have a cameraman going with us, and that cameraman should have told you that no candidate can master the support of the people as NNPP is doing. From there, we came to Patiskum. From Patiskum, we left for Gombe through Fika, Nafada, Bojoga, Malan Sidi, and we arrived to Gombe late in the night. We left Gombe at 1 a.m. by air to Abuja. The following day, we flew to Jalingo, again in the northeastern part of Nigeria. From Jalingo, we drove straight through Gosol, through Mutumbiu, through Tele, through Zaki Biam, through Kasina Ala, through Boko, through Taka or Wanune, into Makodi. We arrived in Makodi at 2 a.m. We hardly slept when we left our hotel at 7 a.m. to address a radio program, Radio Benway, for 2 hours. We took off from there to Otukpo. From Otukpo, we took off through several local governments into Angpa, where we received a hero's welcome. From Angpa, we crisscrossed the eastern side of senatorial district of Kogi into the ancient town of Ida. In fact, we were at the Ata of Igala's palace up to 8:30 in the night. We left Ida for Abuja, arrived Abuja at 5 a.m. And all these roads that I tell you, jam-packed with human beings waiting for us up to the wee hours of the morning. No candidate has done 1% of the campaigns we did. And we arrived Abuja at 5 a.m. and left for Kaduna and Zaria at 7 o'clock. Zaria, Funtua, Musawa, Dusima, Kafin Soli, Kurfi, Batagarawa to Kasina. We slept at Kasina. We held a rally in Kasina yesterday morning. And then from Kasina, we took off through Mashi, Daura, Fago, Kazaure, Babura, Siletankarkar, Gumel, Malamaduri, and Hadeja. I have never, in the 47 years of my political life, has ever seen a public gathering like the one we saw at Hadeja yesterday.
All right,
from Hadeja, we took through Awio. Just hold on. We took through Awio yesterday night, Kafin Hausa, up to Duse. Then from Duse, we took an aircraft to this place because today we are supposed to see a delegation of about 4 different heads of state who have come to monitor these elections. And we are also seeing the U.S. Assistant Secretary of State. Right now, as we speak, they are at Kwankwaso's house. It is only the Nigerian press that is blind. Can you, as you look at this video now you are showing next to me, is there any candidate alive in Nigeria that is as popular or can be received with this nostalgia as Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso? But having said this, Dr. Abati, let me tell you something. You yourself said, you people, all of you in the press, this without exception, oh, Kwankwaso should step down for Peter Obi. Oh, Peter Obi is the best candidate. That is why some of you even planted somebody at Chatham House to directly confront Senator Kwankwaso. Why is he still in the campaign, not stepping down for Peter Obi? As if Peter Obi or the person who asked that question was funding Kwankwaso's political machine. And I was glad with the kind of answers that Kwankwaso gave him. And I saw Dr. Abati trying to defend Kwankwaso. And Dr. Abati, as a man of letters, PhD, for the first time, and we know his editorials in Guardian, all along, telling the world that PhD doesn't matter in political governance, that performance doesn't matter in political governance. We were shocked with what the honorable PhD holder, Dr. Abati, was saying. A real U-turn. A real U-turn. Then...
Okay, Alaji Galadima, I need to come in here. I need to come in here because...
Hold on.
No, Alaji, I need to
land. Let me land. No, I will not. I will not. Let me make this point.
Yes, I need to come in now.
Let me make this point. Let me pick this. I say let me make this point and let me conclude. Now you came back again, all the press. Oh, he's stepping down for Atiku. Oh, he's stepping down for this. Now they came back. Oh, he's stepping down for Tinubu. Now, The question I want to ask is, are we in the same party with Peter Obi? Or are we in the same party with Atiku? Or are we in the same party with Tinubu? Why can't they go and work hard as we are doing? Kwankwaso will shock Nigerians in the next 3 days. He will be the president of Nigeria, inshallah. We have seen all endorsements. Our province is not big people like some of you. Our province are the common people.
All right.
We speak their language.
Thank you very much.
They have the ears to listen to our message.
Alhaji Galadima, I'll need to come in here, please.
What is on the ground?
I'll need to come in here, please.
And Kwankwaso is not, Kwankwaso has no history.
Because of our
and
time.
Myself have no history.
Alhaji Galadima, we have a very limited time.
Our mandate.
Alhaji Galadima, this is an interview.
Well, I have to make the point.
Yes, you have
we
to.
We have
but
no such history of political prostitution.
You have made your point, and we hear you really clearly. However, we have a limited time for this interview, and it's meant to be an interaction. And so please allow us time to also ask you questions based on what you've said. All right. So very quickly, what
go
you have
ahead.
said...
Don't waste time. Go ahead.
What you have said is that you have campaigned and you've given us a detailed campaign in the north. However, Nigerians have also said that Senator Kwankwaso is not going to be president of the north. Can you give the details of your campaigns in the southeast, in the south, in the southwest? Because these are the reasons why people are saying that Senator Kwankwaso has no chance, because you're just concentrating in the north. Is that the only place where he's looking to get his votes for this election?
You see now, you see, there you come. There you come again. Whatever Kwankwaso does, you don't see. I thought you had a cameraman following us when we left Elisha Barupa into Shaki, from Shaki to Ogbomoso, to Oyo, to Ibadan, to Lagos, came back, traveled to the east, Asaba, Onisha, Oka, Ogidi, came back, then traveled to Ebonyi, Ogoja, Ogep, Ikom, Boki. All this you are not seen because it is Kwankwaso, the man that should be suppressed by the press. All this you didn't see. Is because we have a strategy. We are practical politicians. We are not politicians that only campaign or in the TV or only dishes money. Thank God Buhari has dealt with them. Money is not going to be an instrument. Even though we are aware that certain candidates collected money right directly allocated to them by the central bank. That is why they are supporting the CBN policy. We thank God that some people have accumulated money up to 22 billion in the house of one governor. And some of them shouting, you can see their saliva coming out of their mouth because they have been shortchanged by Buhari. May God ever try to destroy the illicit money they have packed in their house. It is not going to be useful. Our own campaign is not about money. Our own campaign is not about big people. Our own campaign is about the common people. It's about what we have done, and we can show practically. No candidate can show his record of performance. After all of them are illiterates. Which of them is going to any school that we know? If you go to Harvard and spend one night, you come out and say, I've attended Harvard. Which Harvard? Did they know how many schools, courses I have attended? Let them show their certificates. Kwankwaso is the only person that this nation needs. Really? Any mistake of voting for any candidate apart from Kwankwaso is just setting Nigeria 100 years back.
Really, Alhaji, what university did your candidate, Mr. Kwankwaso, get his PhD from? I'd like to know.
Oh, you are not. I thought you fact checked.
Alhaji, I'm asking you.
We know you. Don't worry.
What?
I say fact check.
What?
Fact check. Fact
Alhaji,
check.
Alhaji.
Fact check.
Alhaji, what university?
Check. We know you, Seni. We know you.
What university did Mr. Kwankwaso get his PhD from? Because you've denigrated others for going to school. So I'd like to ask you, what university
which school did you go to?
Mr. Kwankwaso get his PhD from?
I say fact check.
No,
I say fact check.
Alhaji, I'm asking you the question.
Whatever I tell you, you will not believe me because you have. I say you have a fixed mind on Kwankwaso. We know you.
Okay, so I'll take it that Alhaji, you can't tell me the university Mr. Kwankwaso got his PhD from. That's what I'll take it as. But most importantly,
he has not gone to school. He has not gone to school.
No, Alhaji. Most importantly, I'd like to also buttress the things you said. You know, I saw the massive rally in Kano.
You know that I can.
No, Alhaji, let me finish my question, please. Rally? Oh, there was a massive rally by Kwankwaso in Kano that I saw, you know, over the weekend, and I've been watching a lot of the activities, and I've been seeing the grounds, you know, groundswell around him in the north.
Kano.
And
I say Kwankwaso didn't go to Kano.
Alhaji,
Kwankwaso didn't go to Kano.
Alhaji, please, let me finish
Kwankwaso
speaking.
didn't go to Kano on the weekend.
Let me finish speaking. So I've also been seeing the massive groundswell, you know, around Kwankwaso and your candidate, and in the northern part of Nigeria. But the most important thing is, a lot of people are saying his ideas are not practical, that he wants to run a welfare state. Can you tell, you know, business-loving Nigerians and reassure them that that's not what he's going to do? Because a lot of things people see in his manifesto is about big government. And if you can also, probably when you get where he got his PhD from, let's look at the final status and analysis as we wrap up, Alhaji.
Kwankwaso got his PhD from a university in India called Sharjah University. I think I'm correct. Sharjah University. First check. Kwankwaso is not riding on falsehood like other candidates who have no certificate, who have not gone to school, where you cannot run their educational qualification from one school to the other. And he doesn't lie. We are not known for frivolities. I want to say it is not bad to adopt a welfarist policy. It is not bad. In Europe, certain countries were developed based on welfarism. And this is why you don't need to have everybody to become trillionaire. What you need to do is to put food on the table of every Nigerian. And we believe that Nigeria has got a lot of resources and that can be tapped, but these resources are being pilfered by privileged people. And we believe that once you plug the loopholes of pilferage, there would be enough money on the table. And Kwankwaso is telling you that everything he said he will do, he has done a sample of it in Kano, and it has been successful. Kano is the most prosperous state in Nigeria, one of the most prosperous states in Nigeria. Kano is the most peaceful state in Nigeria because everybody has something to do. And if we can, Kano being an oasis in northern Nigeria or in Nigeria, in peace and in commerce, then that is what everybody should look for. And our own idea is to give, our own idea is that we will provide an enabling environment for every Nigerian to reach the peak of his own potentials. That is what we need to do, but we will never cut corners to sell Nigeria. Some of these candidates, I want to tell you, not that they will sell NNPC. No, they may even sell your grandfather's house. You are sitting there, you don't know. One Chinese or one British or one Japanese will come and say, look, the government has sold your property to us. So we will not take it. And those who have milked their states dry, we will not allow them to take charge in this country. And politics is a game of number, and Kwankwaso has got the number, and he's going to be the president of Nigeria. Yes, sir.
We have less than a minute to go. Just two quick things.
Yes,
if
sir.
you could do it in less than a second.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned a governor hiding 22 billion. Who is that governor? And then secondly, how are you managing with this access to Naira that you've been complaining about?
Well, thank you very much. Governor has got 22 billion. One of them has got billions in the hands of some of his cronies. Some of them have gone to court to challenge Buhari.
I just wanted
you
to
are
name
a
them.
journalist, Dr.
I wanted you to
I know
name
you for
them.
the last 30. Hold on now. Don't kill my 30 seconds. You are a journalist. Do investigative journalism to find. Those who shout are the ones that are holding that amount of money. And we don't have money. We never built this party on the basis of money. we built this party on the basis of ideology and what we are going to do to the people. And we tell them that we are not promising to do, but we had done before. That is why we can only expand. And the people trust us because they know us, that what we speak is where we stand. So Kwankwaso is a presidential candidate of the New Nigerian People's Party. He is not a member of PDP, no APC, no Labour Party. So our road will never meet. We will only meet at the ballot box on Saturday, 25th of this month. And inshallah, God willing, Kwankwaso is going to be declared the next president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Well, thank you very much, Alhaji Buba Galadima, for joining us on the morning show. We'll take a short break now. And when we return, we'll be talking to Prince Uche Secondus, former chairman, national chairman of the People's Democratic Party. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Imagine your wallet can be everything. Well, almost everything your bank is to you. That's exactly what First Money Wallet is. First Money Wallet from First Bank is another swift and seamless way to bank from your mobile phone. It doesn't matter if you have a First Bank account or not, nor the mobile network you use. Everyone can open a First Money Wallet, and it's very easy. Your phone number is your account number. With First Money Wallet, you can send money using just a phone number, receive money, pay bills, buy airtime and data for yourself or someone else, and in check balance. You don't need a bank account at all or BVN to enjoy the boundless possibilities First Money Wallet offers. All you need is a registered phone number, and you can fund your wallet easily through your First Bank account or any bank account and debit card. What's more, First Money Wallet is highly secure with fingerprint technology and PIN. And when you need cash, just walk up to any First Money agent near you to withdraw money. No smartphone, no wahala. Just dial *894*1# on any phone. So, it doesn't matter if you live in the city or the remotest part of the country. With First Money Wallet, your transactions are easy, seamless, and secure. Download the First Money Wallet app now. Input your phone number and follow the prompts, or simply dial *894*1#. All money now on First Money. You first. First Bank.
Great people of our land, at the dawn of light, did you know that while our gallant men were fighting off bandits and insurgents, we were also laying a solid foundation for the infrastructure revolution to spark the growth of our economy? Did you know that the revolution stops not with infrastructure? Now we reap harvests of progress in agriculture with more than 4 million farmers anchored to the Anchor Borrower Scheme for 23 diverse cultivations, with fertilizer revolution, rice revolution, export revolution, as we now grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Now, as we stand at this dawn of light, let us move forward with renewed hope. Let's elect Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Senator Kashim Shettima as President and Vice President to birth the greater Nigeria of our collective dreams.
This message is brought to you by the National Working Committee of the APC.
APC Progress!
Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. It's 3 days to the general election in Nigeria as the People's Democratic Party, PDP, runs off campaign activities ahead of the 2023 election in Nigeria. Former national chairman of the party, Prince Uche Secondus, has asked Nigerians to support President Muhammadu Buhari in his desire to rid the country of election riggers and corrupt politicians. Secondus, who is a technical advisor to the presidential candidate of the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, also congratulated members of the Council of State for backing the Central Bank of Nigeria policy and the conduct of the elections as scheduled by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, this Saturday. The former PDP chairman said that he was sure that the candidate of the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, will win the 2023 election. Likewise, the party's candidate at the state level in Rivers State. Joining us now on this show from Port Harcourt, Rivers State, is Prince Uche Secondus, former national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Thank you very much for joining us, Prince Uche Secondus. Good morning.
Thank you, Ruben Abati, for inviting me for this chat with the Arise.
Thank you for honoring our invitation. Very quickly, we just had a conversation with Alhaji Buba Galadima.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we just had a conversation with Alhaji Buba Galadima of the NNPP, and he was saying that he's very sure that on Saturday, his presidential candidate, the presidential candidate of his party, Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwanso, would win. Now, we've just introduced you also saying you believe Waziri Adamawa Atiku Abubakar will be the winner of the election. How do you rate his chances in the face of this strong challenge from the presidential candidate of the APC, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, and now to add to it, the presidential candidate of the NNPP? Are you so sure that those other strong contenders will not pose any threat to his ambition?
Ruben, this issue, I believe that by the special grace of God that Nigerians are aware, especially the voters, because the power to vote resides at the various polling units. Alhaji Abubakar Atiku is a known name. He was a vice president to Olusegun Obasanjo. He was there for 8 years, and he known over the country, head of the economic team. The Nigerians' best time in our history was at the time when he was a vice president. He has a track record that everyone can see, and I believe that he has worked so hard with all of us on board. We've moved around the entire 36 states of the Federation, and we did the same in 2019 when I was the national chairman. We've done it again, moving around, talking to the people, and we are convinced that he will be the winner on that day. 2 days to go, Thursday and Friday. Saturday is the election. The Nigerian people will elect Alhaji Abubakar Atiku and Okowa on that day. Reasons are that the other candidates, Nigerians know them very well, know those who are physically fit to run the country, and know those who have not traversed the entire country, those who are regional leaders. I don't want to mention names, but I believe that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is a nationalist, is known all over the country, is a bridge builder, is a unifier, that all those credentials are the reasons why I believe, and other Nigerians believe, that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar will emerge the winner of this election on the 25th of February.
All right, thank you for sharing your confidence as to Alhaji Abubakar Atiku's chances at the polls on Saturday. However, some people will differ, as Dr. Abati had mentioned. Again, going back to the polls, or beyond the polls, according to INEC, the demography of this election posts that young people have over 30% of the share of registered voters. And in terms of occupation, students make a huge number of that, many of whom are backing. I mean, the Peter Obi campaign has ridden on and thrived amongst young people. Therefore, it is difficult to see how it would not play in his favor come Saturday. Beyond that, they've also talked about the fact that Nigerians haven't yet fully healed from the PDP years before the APC administration. How will you move away from this towards election victory on Saturday?
Well, like I said before, this man called Alhaji Abubakar Atiku is a bridge builder. So he, you know, when he was a vice president, he brought in a lot of youths. El-Rufai was one of them. He was young at that time, highly intellectual, and other people into the government. And you can recall Ribadu, who was also very young. He was appointed the chairman of EFCC, the first chairman. And so many instances. This man, he believes in the talents of the youth. Is not isolated from the youth. You know, also he has children. He believes in that class of people in Nigeria, because moving forward, those are the people that will take over from the current generation. And he has a track record of putting the youth to work. He has established university, given a lot of scholarship to the young ones. So this is a man who entirely believes that no one can do without 30% critical mass of the youth for our nation, moving forward our nation, especially at this time. So they require the experience of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar to set the country aright and to allow the youth to take over in future. And this bridge must be built by him. And that's why we're convinced that the one that can set Nigeria again on the path of progress and the economic boom will be Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. And we believe that all the youths, they are aware, they've tested the other candidates, they've also seen them, and the difference is very clear who can do this job on their behalf, who is mentally alert, who is ready to take them on and then engage them. Well, over the period of this campaign, we have also engaged the youths, we've engaged the women.
Mr. Secondus.
We believe that is ready to work with all the youths and the women on board. Don't forget that for a special program of 10 billion US dollars is critically targeted at the youth and the women and those who are involved in innovation and can take our country out of the present situation. So we believe and convinced that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar.
Mr. Secondus,
and the youth.
I mean, I'll have to jump in here if you can hear me, Mr. Secondus.
We'll support him.
Thank you so much for your insight. I mean, yes, you're supporting Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and happy Ash Wednesday, by the way. I'd like to go straight ahead by saying this. It's going to be harder for Atiku Abubakar in Rivers State and the PDP this time around, because the PDP governor in the state doesn't like Atiku Abubakar, does not want him to become president. He's supporting probably somebody else that he's not been able to come out to say. How are you going to navigate it? And how has the campaigns been with navigation through Wike in the States? You have a history with your friend. I don't know if you can say the same, that is still your very good friend now. I'm talking about Governor Nyesom Wike. How has it been like for you guys in the PDP, navigating with your very good friend, Nyesom Wike?
You know that this is very new in our state, so it hasn't been very easy. But you know, necessity is a stool for any new ideas, new innovation. What we have done in the past few months, when we witnessed that the governor and his team has changed from a presidential candidate, even though he made a firm promise, even vow that he will support, but later backed out of the support, giving all sorts of flimsy reason. That has not gone down well to the grassroots. You recall I was also a state chairman, and I believe that the Rivers people from 1999 till date have been voting for PDP. What we have done so far in the state is to make sure that we go down to the grassroots, to the people themselves who are going to vote on that day, because we are not going to depend on anybody's ego or what anybody likes, but the truth of the matter is that before even the political dispensation, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar had already been known in our dear state, fortunately. He was the one in the 70s and the 80s that brought with others the Intel establishment to manage the Onesi port and provided millions of people with jobs and families with food. And this has been so organic. It has organic supporters. And then we have to engage those people and many others across the state. So while we watch the governor over and over and over attacking our presidential candidate, but the people themselves are convinced that on that day they will vote for Alhaji Atiku Abubakar and PDP. And so nobody is going to do any magic. No matter amount of intimidation and swinging, trying to swing the vote to the APC candidate, it will not work. The difference is very clear, that you can see Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you can see clearly with our eyes open Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who has done so much for the Rivers people. What has Bola Tinubu done for the Rivers people? So those are the issues, and they are very critical, and they are in the minds of Rivers people and Nigerians also. So this is going to give us a leeway.
Mr. Kandos,
yes.
We have just about a minute to go, but very quickly.
Yes.
The governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, while meeting with stakeholders and traditional rulers in Port Harcourt the other day, told them that they should not vote for people that will kill him, that they should not vote for people that will jail him. I hope you had that admonition, and he being your friend, you are not likely to go and vote for people that will jail him or kill him.
We are not on a roadmap of an individual, or, if you like, the ego of any person, no matter how highly placed. Rivers people are very wise, very intelligent. He is seeking for his own personal whatever. But Rivers people are not going that way. No matter the appeal to some chiefs and people, they know the truth, and the truth will be that that day, Bola Tinubu, everybody knows that if you compare him with Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, Rivers people know Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, including the chiefs that he addressed that day, than Bola Tinubu. It is difficult for him to change the mindset of people. And that's why they appeal. They have refused, and they will refuse. They will not vote for him, despite all the things that is being done against the people of Rivers State. Okay. We've given him people, we voted for him, and we don't want him to take Rivers State out of the PDP. All the other candidates are PDP.
On that note.
Why is it by now that, yes.
Okay, on that note, we'd like to thank
you. I believe that a closing remark, a closing remark is that Atiku Abubakar is going to win
collected within the next 24 hours. The party also advised the electoral body to obey a court order restraining the commission from engaging the Lagos State Parks Management Committee, led by Ms. Liu Akinsoya, popularly known as MC Oluomo, to distribute election materials and personnel in Lagos State on election days, pending the hearing and determination of the substantive suit. Well, the demand by the APC for INEC to release the data of PVCs collected so far is coming as hundreds of uncollected PVCs were discovered by hunters who said they found PVCs while hunting for animals in a bush path in Nnewi North in Anambra State.
As so, all the plenty PVC went there for a year, way past, if it don't reach 1 million, belongs to Nnewi North. The ones who don't check, now Nnewi North people now get this PVC. May for tell everybody when it's Sabi, your friend and friend where we shall, the compound people, when no see their PVC. May they find a call authority FM compound and a person, see the people when bring a call, they can't come authority FM premises. It be like this now. These PVC, they were compound. That the people where pick can be this, they carry and come, jump and they say they pick and for a million. And all the ones who don't check, all of them are never not. Who would see more of who would people?
Discarding PVCs of those who are from the southeast. So that's in Lagos some months ago. And we never believed that was true. But seeing this now is a testament. Indeed, there were people who are hell-bent to cut out the voting strength of the southeast. This is wickedness. This is debauchery. This is the height of it all. Thousands, these guys have looked for their PVCs. They have lost hope. They don't have PVCs anymore. How could someone do this?
Well, in the wake of 10 state governors asking the Supreme Court to set aside the pronouncement of President Muhammadu Buhari banning the old 500 and 1,000 naira notes, a former national chairman of the All Progressives Market in Auchi, Oshomole, urged his supporters to continue using the old banknotes as they have not expired, insisting that it's only the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, that will expire after Saturday's presidential election. Well, in another campaign ground in the state, Oshomole stated that Buhari was on his own and urged him to respect the Supreme Court's verdict on the old banknotes.
They say everything get limit. If you push a goat to the wall, it will fight back. That is why APC governors, we disagree with Buhari on this matter. He's on his own. We obey the order of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court says, until this matter is determined on merit, let your 1,000 naira if you have, your 500 naira if you have, any old money you have remains valid. The Supreme Court is the Supreme Court of Nigeria. The president must obey the Supreme Court. Something than to die for nothing.
Well, in Ogun State, all commercial banks are said to have been closed down following the destruction of bank buildings by residents in the state protesting over the naira scarcity. The Ogun State's Bankers Forum made this known in a communique issued on Thursday. Well, according to the police, about 10 branches of commercial banks were destroyed during the Shagamu riot in the state. Well, a cross-section of Nigerians have said that the riots were instigated by the state governor, Dapo Abiodun, who threatened to shut down commercial banks that do not collect or issue old bank notes.
I've announced any bank that does not collect old notes in Ogun State, not only will I shut that bank down, I will revoke their C of O.
This is the level of destruction. They've destroyed everything. Burnt down my 2 ATM machines. they burnt them down. All the outdoor units, the compressors, everything, they removed it. Everything, they removed it. All the pumping machines. They went into the pumping machine. They burnt down all the pool car.
How is he not sponsored now?
You see, Rufai, as you can see, the state governors are obviously, it appears that they're instigating these people to continue to go out and destroy those banks. In Ogun State alone, 10 banks have been shut down. We have seen it in Lagos right now with people still sharing those old Naira notes at Tinubu's rally. Rufai.
Real quickly, in Lagos State, there was no military on ground, there was no police on ground to be able to curb the attackers in the Peter Obi rally. People were injured.
Yes.
But we have enough soldiers on ground to be able to curb somebody smoking in their hem. It shows the discrepancy going on. Also, by Adams Oshomola's video, you see what the political class are up to, telling people to disrespect the president for their own selfish benefit. Now we now know why millions of people didn't get their PVC, because most of them were thrown out in connivance. I support what the APC said by saying INEC should be able to give us a rundown for people that have collected their PVC.
Yes.
Also, the sad reality of the fact that the Lagos State INEC is still trying to insist on the fact, despite the fact the court has said stay on this, to still use the Lagos Parks chairman, the Lagos Parks Authority, wherever, headed by MC Oluomo, to go ahead to share election materials, despite the fact that the court has spoken on it. That's very sad. I don't know what's the overfixation on MC Oluomo.
All right. Well, Dr. Abati, we saw also in Lagos State, I believe you sent me that video of people jumping to enter the bank. They were spider people trying to get into the bank. I don't know if you can pull up that video before, Dr. Abati. I mean, there you go. Grown women jumping to go into the bank. This is horrific, what's going on in the States right now. Dr. Abati, this is Lagos State.
Well, access to the new notes has turned Nigerians into spider men and spider women, you know, almost like in the famous cartoon series. But this is just an illustration of what people are going through. The second thing is about the young man that was arrested for being in possession of Indian hemp.
Yes.
I think that everybody needs to be reminded that despite the fact that in this country, Indian hemp is grown everywhere, particularly, I think also in your state.
And in your state too.
The possession of marijuana is illegal.
Yes, it is.
You know, but, you know, the main work of the NDLA. We hope that the soldiers will hand over that particular person. Maybe he was found in possession of marijuana or any kind of hard drug. It's NDLA that has the powers. Now, the Chief of Defense Staff had said anybody who behaves in any riotous manner will be given the bloody nose. But the rule also that the soldiers, whether military police or whatever, must realize is that when somebody is resisting arrest, you are required to use reasonable force.
I mean,
minimum force. Anyway, all the devil is in the details. And finally, nobody should go and get drunk on election day or go and take drugs and misbehave. If you go to court, intoxication is not a defense under the Nigerian law. If you go and get intoxicated, you go and make mistake, you go to court, you are going in for it.
Absolutely.
And if you are caught with hard drugs, the punishment is 12 years or life imprisonment. So all the people who are going about to smoking things all over the place, they are breaking the law.
Absolutely.
There won't be enough time to comment on the other issues.
I thought it was also important to highlight that video from Anambra State to the INEC officials so they can see what's actually going on in Anambra State as well. It is very important.
The FM, the radio station, they should read out the names
of those people.
Those PVCs.
INEC
Maybe
should
they can
release
assist
the
people.
names, as well.
There's a radio station.
Yes.